So let's talk about your inner little girl. So for day 3 of the Summer Self-Love Challenge, we're focusing on how you can heal that little girl that's inside of you, right? Because the grown woman that you are now is being ran by that little girl that's inside of you. So wherever she might have had a painful or traumatic experience, that's more than likely kind of where her development kind of left off in certain areas, right? She could have continued to excel academically, but emotionally, mentally, even spiritually, things kind of get moved around depending on the experiences that we have. So, if we're going to talk about self love and we're going to talk about confidence, that means we're going to have to talk about the little girl that is inside of you, right? And I want you to heal her. And here's 4 ways you can do that using my girl acronym. The first thing you can do is the G, and that is to gently speak to her, right? That inner critic that we oftentimes have in our mind is connected to the voices of, normally whoever raised us, or those family members or friendships that we had developing when we were younger, right? From the ages of 1 through 6, that's when we're the most vulnerable and impressionable, because that's when we're really learning a lot about the world, right? So we're learning from what we're seeing from those people who raised us or who didn't raise us, and whatever they're not telling us, we're observing from them. So we're taking on and seeing, okay, if you have a problem, you drink alcohol. That's feeding us information. So we're taking that in. Or if there's some type of argument and one person just gets up and walk out, we're taking that information in, right? Or if we have a parent and they like say they're gonna show up but then they don't, we're taking that in. And it's like, okay, that's abandonment. Okay, that's rejection. And because we're so young, we are taking that into ourselves, right? And we're thinking to ourselves, okay, wait, something is wrong with me, right? Or I'm the cause of that, because we're not old enough to regulate our own emotions. We're not old enough to process what's going on. So we take on what we see because we're little. And, our parents are like our heroes, or those are the people we're with. So we love them. We're spending time with them. So we're going to take on whatever it is that we're witnessing and observing from them, from TV, from the media, from going to a friend's house and even seeing how their parents operate. We're like, oh, okay. So we're starting to learn and pick up on different things. So it's important that you speak gently to the little girl or boy, depending on who is watching this, that is inside of yourself, because they need nourishment, right? As a child, we really just want to be seen, heard, loved, and valued. So now it's your responsibility to provide that to yourself. So again, the G is to speak gently to yourself, okay? Or gently speak to yourself. The I is to identify wherever you can need continued healing or further development, right? And who you are and where you are in the process. Once you start bringing up some of the things that may have occurred, or things that whatever triggers you or gets you emotional, is going to be the pathway to the healing, okay? The R is going to be to release any shame, any self-doubt, okay, and also any self-blame. So blaming yourself for your parents' divorce, or shame that you had because you were a teenage mom, or anything that's coming up that's causing those feelings. You're going to need to learn how to release them. Going to counseling or therapy is excellent for that. Journaling is excellent for that as well, if you need a quick method to utilize to start processing. What you don't process becomes suppressed, right? And it's going to find a way to negatively express itself, right? And that can come through depression, that can come through anxiety, that can come through addictions. So that can come from failed relationships, because you're going to be looking for the suppressed things in you in someone else, and they're not going to be able to give it to you. So that's going to cause a lot of friction and a lot of problems. Okay. And then lastly is the L, and the L is learn to observe your family patterns, looking at your family ancestry, looking at family habits, looking at generational cycles, and even curses that are like flowing through to see. And that's even from, a health standpoint. We look at how diabetes can travel through, but also you want to look at how depression travels through. You want to look at how, addiction travels through. You want to look at how different, and even little things, right? Even if it's going to college, how is that traveling through your family and your bloodline? How we process emotions traveling through the bloodline? And you want to see how does that connect to you as a little girl, and who is that helping you to become now? So you want to learn those family patterns as you continue on this journey to help you heal that inner little girl. If you need more support with that, feel free to get my Heal Your Inner Little Girl challenge and my Fear store. You can go to bit.ly/fear store, sorry, in order to purchase that. And you can also get my Unleash Your Worth workshop. You can go to bit.ly/fierce worth in order to download that workshop and that workbook, because you really need to start actually sitting down and have some guided wisdom, right? That's actually step by step guiding you through the process of unpacking and unlearning a lot of things so that you can unleash the very best version of yourself. But until you really sit down and have that heart to heart with the little girl inside of you, there's a lot of things that you do as a grown woman that are not going to change in your life, that are not going to change in your relationships, your marriage, right? That are not going to change with your finances, that are not going to change with your health and wellness until you actually sit down and look at what's actually going on in your life and what actually has been occurring over time. So I hope you found this valuable. This is Tara Pritchett, confidence coach for women. Find me on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, and you can find me at unleashyourfierce.com. Peace.